A plane traveling from Bangkok to Muan, South Korea, left the runway and crashed into a concrete wall after the landing gear failed. Only 2 people were rescued alive from the plane that turned into a ball of flames. The remaining 179 people lost their lives.
This is how the plane, whose landing gear malfunctioned, crashed into the wall surrounding the airport. South Korea experienced one of the deadliest aviation incidents in its history. The incident took place in the city of Muan, 290 kilometers from the capital Seoul. The Boeing HBH-BBK Bank plane belonging to Jeju Airlines had taken off from Bangkok, the capital of Thailand. 181 people were on board, including 175 passengers and 6 crew members. There were no problems during the flight. What happened was during landing. When the landing gear failed, the plane first veered off the runway, then crashed into a concrete wall and turned into a ball of flames. The terrifying moment was caught on camera for seconds. Search and rescue teams immediately responded. Only 2 crew members were pulled out of the tail section of the plane alive. The rest lost their lives. Only the tail section was visible in the wreckage of the completely destroyed plane. One of the black boxes was recovered. Choi Sang-mok, the acting head of state appointed on Friday in South Korea, which is also going through a political crisis, went to Muan International Airport where the incident took place. An investigation has been launched to determine the cause of the accident. It is suspected that the collision with a flock of birds may have caused problems with the landing gear. It is reported that the 2 surviving crew members also gave information in this direction. South Korean Ministry of Transportation officials scrutinized what happened just before the accident. Accordingly, at 8:57 o'clock, the authorities responsible for air traffic warned the plane about the risk of bird collision. Only 1 minute after this warning, at 8:58, the pilot called for emergency assistance. Soon after, it crashed into a wall. Jeju Airlines issued an apology and announced that they would do their best to manage the aftermath of the accident.
Unfortunately, it was not only South Korea. Hours later, news of plane crashes came from Canada and Norway. Here are the frightening moments of the passengers in the air.
This footage was recorded by a passenger on the plane. The address is Canada. There were terrifying moments on the plane that was on its way from St. John's to Halifax. During landing at the airport, the left side of the plane caught fire. According to one of the passengers, this was caused by the landing gear not deploying properly and the left wing rubbing against the ground for a while. Fortunately, there were no injuries. All passengers and crew were successfully evacuated. On the other hand, a passenger plane from Norway to the Netherlands veered off the runway during an emergency landing. It slid into a grassy area. 176 passengers and 6 crew members on board were unharmed. It is believed that the plane made an emergency landing due to a malfunction in the hydraulic system.